The 2013 summer movie season is just heating up, and most of us have already marked our calendars with everything from Man of Steel to Pacific Rim, but it's never too early to pick up a 2014 calendar and start planning ahead, right? To help you out, I have got your summer 2014 movie preview, and boy, is there a lot to look forward to. So let's do this. Summer starts a little bit early next year with the release of Captain America: The Winter Soldier on April 4th. Chris Evans returns as Steve Rogers, of course, and following the events of the Avengers, Captain America is struggling to readjust back to life in a modern world and partners up with the Black Widow to fight enemies on the loose in Washington, D.C. The duo will have their hands full this time around with several villains, including former BFF of Captain America, Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, played by Sebastian Stan, as well as Frank Grillo as Crossbones and George St. Pierre as Batroc the Leaper. May 2nd will bring us the return of Peter Parker in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The Mark Webb-directed sequel gives Spidey plenty of bad guys to fight all around New York City, including Jamie Foxx as Electro, Paul Giamatti as the Rhino, and maybe even a sneak peek at Norman Osborn as the Green Goblin, who will be played by Chris Cooper. Shailene Woodley will be playing Mary Jane Watson, and she joins returning cast members Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, and Sally Field. The guys behind the Dark Knight trilogy and Man of Steel will bring us the remake of the giant radioactive monster Godzilla on May 16th, which will star Aaron Johnson, Ken Watanabe, Elizabeth Olsen, and Sally Hawkins. While we expect this remake to have more contemporary themes in David Goyer's version of the story, we are crossing our fingers to see that epic lizardfoot crush all that's in its path. The highly anticipated sequel, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, opens on May 23rd with Cloverfield director Matt Reeves taking over directing duties from Rupert Wyatt. The film stars Andy Serkis, Gary Oldman, Judy Greer, Kerry Russell, and Jason Clarke, and the sequel will follow a group of San Francisco scientists who are trying to survive a plague that is taking down humanity, with Caesar struggling to maintain control over his apes. On June 6th, our favorite turtles will be back in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We can all thank producer Michael Bay for this remake. The movie is directed by Jonathan Liebsman and stars Will Arnett, Megan Fox, and Danny Woodburn, and the Turtles will be played by Alan Ritchson, Noel Fisher, Jeremy Howard, and Pete Plozek. Directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller will be back to helm 21 Jump Street 2, which makes its way into theaters on June 13th, and the sequel will once again star Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. The duo will be back taking over a college campus this time around, and we will see the two officers' friendship grow even more than we did in the first film, with plenty of comedy and action as well as a lot of heart. Rounding out June will be Michael Bay's Transformers 4 hitting theaters on June 27th. A remake of sorts, T4 will have a new take on the Transformers story, but still have continuity with the first three films. This time around, the franchise will be sans Shia LaBeouf, with Mark Wahlberg taking over the franchise. There will also be some new faces, including Jack Rayner, Stanley Tucci, and Kelsey Grammer as the film's human villain. July 11th will bring us the 7th installment of the Fast and Furious franchise, starring Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. Diesel promised fans that this movie will be coming back home to Los Angeles, where the Fast franchise first started back in 2001. Insidious director James Wan takes over from franchise helmer Justin Lin, with Chris Morgan returning to write his 5th script in the series. X-Men: Days of Future Past opens on July 18th in what director Bryan Singer told us will be a sort of in-betweenquel, with the cast of X-Men First Class and the original X-Men cast joining forces, including Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry, Jennifer Lawrence, and James McAvoy, as well as a slew of new characters. Based on a popular comic storyline of the same name, the plot will involve time travel in order to change a historical event to save both man and mutant kind. And finally, Guardians of the Galaxy wraps up the busy summer movie season on August 1st, with Marvel venturing into space, bringing us the story of the Guardians superhero team in the midst of a universal conflict. James Gunn is at the helm of this huge project, and he has a stellar cast to work with, including Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, Zoe Saldana as Gamora, Dave Bautista as Drax the Destroyer, and Michael Rooker as Yondu, with Lee Lee Pace as the yet unnamed villain. So there you have it, the highlights of the 2014 summer movie lineup. Make sure you let us know which movies you are most excited for down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to us here to stay up to date on all of your favorite movies. From Hollywood Guys, I'm Erin White.